This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Leaded, designed for extra miles.
After committing 46 years, 6 months, and 10 days of his life to public service, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions Vernal Collie has begun pre-retirement leave. A farewell reception was held in his honor last night at the Police Conference Center, where he was showered with accolades, gifts, and words of wisdom. Collie began his career in teaching and transferred to law by working in the Attorney General's office. Many of those paying tribute describe him as a consummate professional.
When you look for Mr. Collie at 9:45, Mr. Collie is almost down by the court. So he says to me, "Kemp, the crown is never late." I've never seen Mr. Collie raise his voice, never heard him raise his voice. And to me, those are the qualities of a QC.
If you recall, you and I having a conversation, they had you in an office upstairs, and I went to see you in the old AG's building. And we sat in there for about 2.5 hours. And Mr. Collie was trying to get me to go into law. And, but he got me to do one thing, which is to study in the UK. And so I thank you very much for that advice, sir.
The veteran teacher and prosecutor took a trip down memory lane to reminisce on his more than 4 decades of service, which he is very grateful for. But now that he's retired, his next venture is to travel the country.
We have to ensure that that level of criminality is reduced. We have to work together, the churches, the schools, all stakeholders, because this is our little country. And we cannot allow misfits to take it over. I will endeavor to visit the 3 islands that I have not visited during the time I was a teacher or prosecutor. And those 3 islands are Megona, Ragged Island, and Bimini. Well, you're right. I'm off to Bimini.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies is also retiring after more than a decade of service to regional education. Dr. Nigel Harris was honored for his exemplary contribution to UWI's open campus here in Nassau during a farewell reception at COB's Tourism Training Center last night. During Harris's tenure, UWI has doubled in enrollment, reaching approximately 50,000. This has been accompanied by 10,000 students achieving both undergraduate and graduate degrees annually. Among those congratulating Vice Chancellor Harris on his accomplishments was Minister of Education and Science and Technology, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald.
Ensure that every country with a university campus experience some degree of positive change, and you were not biased, as was said earlier, in your decisions to enhance every campus. You identified the strength of various campuses and ensured that they met their maximum potential.
He is a leader whose style is grounded in transformation and inclusiveness, and I have found that personally to be very motivational.
Professor E. Nigel Harris, who dedicated himself to the University of the West Indies and leaves it in an inspired and motivated way, ready for the further contribution of Sir Hilary Beckles, his successor.
Meanwhile, the retiring UWI Vice Chancellor has formed many long-lasting friendships in the Bahamas, and he hopes that UWI can sustain a partnership with the new University of the Bahamas.
I feel that given the diversity of our undergraduate and postgraduate programs, given our ability to deliver by distance, our ability to welcome students to both residential and added campuses, that we give a degree that is recognized by every university the world over, that we bring value to the Bahamas.
And that does it for this portion of the news, but don't you move, sports is up next.